The Rambler's Diary channel is pleased to welcome you. Pakistan will be the focus of our next few videos. We'll try to publish some informative as well as sightseeing videos as we journey through many sections of undiscovered Pakistan, including the good, the bad, and the impoverished. In this video, we drive through the rural districts of Mirpur Khas, in Sindh province, Pakistan. It is useful to be able to see the landscape of these locations, as well as how developed or underdeveloped these Mirpur Khas areas are. The state of the roads in rural areas is deplorable. The roads are either not metalled or are in poor condition if they are metalled. This could be due to a number of factors. These roads were either built a long time ago or, if they were built recently, the materials used were subpar, resulting in rapid degradation of the condition of the road. Another explanation could be the people's own lack of concern. Tractor drivers, for example, are frequently seen on the road towing gobel plows behind their tractors, destroying the road surface. Although the government issues warnings prohibiting tractor plows from being driven on metalled roads, drivers ignore the warnings and continue to drive these agricultural machines on the road without regard for the roadways. Agriculture lands aren't completely farmed. Only roughly 33% of the land established on the Indus River's Sucker barrage canals is cultivated. Some agricultural lands have been very well leveled, and a larger percentage of these lands can be cultivated. In other areas, the percentage of cultivated land is lower than the rest. If you watch the video to the end, you'll discover that most soils aren't equally suitable for agriculture. There are regions of salty or sodic soils interspersed among the fertile soils. As a result, the agricultural farm scenery in the Mirpur Khas area is diverse. Before we go any further, we'd like to encourage you to subscribe to the Rambler's Diary channel and toggle the bell symbol to receive timely notifications of new videos as they become available. Please remember to check travelsandholidays.com if you are looking for cheaper flight tickets, hotel reservations, tour packages, or an online visa application service. The local name for the mesquite species that grows wild in the Mirpur Khas area is Davy. The most prevalent type of mesquite found here is Prosopis juliflora. It is a plant that is drought, salinity, and temperature resilient. Mesquite was probably brought into Sindh in the late 19th century, most likely from Jamaica or Mexico. The primary goal of the introduction was to aid in the stabilization of sand dunes and provide a vital means of support for the underprivileged in form of cattle fodder and firewood. The most prevalent usage of the mesquite in Sindh is for firewood throughout the winter. It is consumed by some animals, which also spreads the seed. Mesquite is now strictly regarded as a weed that may need to be eradicated due to its intrusive nature. Its intrusive nature is based on the fact that it can grow with a single root left in the soil. It is commonly referred to as a noxious weed as a result of this. Intermittent regions of wheat or cotton, sugarcane, and mesquite weed make up the terrain in this area. This is due to the variable quality of the soil. Farmers plant crops like wheat, cotton, and sugarcane in nice and fertile places, but mesquite grows as a weed in slightly saline soils or locations where there is no crop. Signal boosting towers for mobile phones are noticeable in the rural areas of Mirpur Khas. The availability of low-cost mobile phones has enabled poor rural residents to own at least one phone per home. If they can afford it, some households may have multiple mobile phones or even smartphones. Houses, like those in other regions of Sindh, must have a compound wall or other barrier to maintain privacy. The construction of a compound wall is beyond reach for the poor. That's why they create a hedge barrier around the house out of dried prickly mesquite or acacia branches. For this reason, some people grow mesquite. The entrance gates are made of inexpensive acacia wood, while some people simply place thorny branches on the entrance at night to provide a barrier for undesirable visitors. It is not simply the state of the roads that is deplorable, there are numerous thorns strewn throughout. Tires on cars, motorcycles, pickup trucks, and other vehicles are frequently punctured by these thorns. The majority of these thorns come from thorny mesquites and acacia trees. Acacia trees are planted in several places of Sindh. These acacias, like mesquite, can grow in poor soil conditions and provide fodder for goats and sheep, which many rural families keep for a living. Acacia leaves, unlike mesquite, are enjoyed by goats. The farmers have numerous acacia nilotica trees in their land. However, these years are mainly dispersed here and there, rather than forming a forest, which is known locally as hoary. In rural homes, mesquite wood is utilized to cook food throughout the winter. The wood is also sold in the city suburbs, where there is neither power nor natural gas for food preparation. Because of the high demand for mesquite wood in the winter, poor people cut mesquites, which spreads thorns from the shrubs, making car tires more susceptible to puncture. In these remote areas, modified motorcycles converted into motorcycle taxis have become the most frequent mode of transportation. The Chingchi's tires are frequently punctured by mesquite thorns. Therefore, if you are in the rural areas of Mirpur Khas, keep your spare tire in good condition. As we proceeded along the road in day 136, we came across the ruins of an ancient settlement. We showed this historic village to an expert archaeologist, who stated that the pottery scattered around the ruins indicate that these are relics of a village that existed throughout the Buddhist time. While traveling on the roads, a Sufi saint's durgah may be observed next to the ancient Buddhist settlement. Many Sufi believers pay respect to the saint. Such vistas can also be found in other parts of Sindh, which is known as the land of Sufi saints. There is not enough water to irrigate and grow all fields due to a scarcity of irrigation water in the Indus River system. It is typical to discover barren areas in between the farmed lands. Most barrens are also saline due to inadequate drainage in neighboring irrigated regions and evaporation of moisture from the soil top. The fertile farmed fields in the area are ideal for growing a variety of crops. Many farmers produce sugarcane due to the presence of a sugar mill in the vicinity. Sugarcane can survive for roughly a year on the land and can endure modest saline concentrations in the soil, which are common. Cotton is planted in the summer while wheat is planted in the winter by those who have richer and more fertile well-drained soils. Planting of vegetables and other delicate crops is uncommon in this area, with the exception of onions, which are farmed by a few dedicated onion growers. Onions can fetch a high price at times, but at other times, they don't even break even. Due to drainage issues, the government built surface drains that are beneficial during monsoon rains. All of these small drains feed into the left bank outfall drainage system's main trunk drain, which discharges the drained water into the Arabian Sea after passing through the Thapaka and Badin districts of Sindh. We didn't come across any nice roads during our journey. Despite the fact that this area produces a lot of agricultural produce, no road appears to have been fixed in many years. Poor folks who cannot afford to own a vehicle commute in motorcycle taxis known as ching-chi. On the other hand, some individuals possess a motorcycle. Cars are only owned by a few wealthy. In the region of Mirpur Khas, the famed Sindhi mangoes can be found. Mango trees have been planted on some of the more fertile sites in this area. Sindhi mangoes have been grown in this region since the second decade of the 20th century. Mango trees can be seen dying in some patches of the land due to waterlogging caused by water seepage from the irrigation system. Sometimes heavy monsoon rains also cause waterlogging and damage to the mango trees. However, in well-drained soils, these trees produce some of the world's best mangoes. Sindhi mangoes are the greatest in the country alone in this region. The desert soil is quite fertile. However, the land cannot be cultivated due to a lack of irrigation water. Even monsoon rains aren't guaranteed every year. As a result, a large number of people from the third desert have migrated to the Sucker Barrage irrigated lands. This area isn't any different. Many Thur migrant workers call this place home. They've also constructed conventional desert-style homes here. Jamrao huts in the manner of the desert can also be found here. Irrigation canals are a major source of water for Sindh's agricultural lands. This section of the Mirpur Khas is fed by the Jamrao Canal, which is part of the Nara Canal of the River Indus irrigation system, which begins at the Sucker Barrage. Sugarcane, cotton, wheat, and other crops are grown in these areas. Rice is not permitted to be grown in these perennial canals command areas. Some growers plant rice if there is enough water available, but only for land reclamation. As a result, this is a part of the cotton-wheat agroecological zone of the Sucker Barrage command area. The average wheat grain production in the area is around 1,200 kilograms per acre. Cotton production is only about 900 kilograms per acre. Sugarcane, on the other hand, can produce approximately 28,000 kilograms per acre. Mirpur Khas sugar mill is nearby, and sugarcane sales are not a problem. Sugarcane growers, on the other hand, have been dissatisfied recently due to low prices. Every village in Sindh must have a mosque. The villagers gather here to pray. These mosques can be seen while driving down the road. Usually, an imam will lead the prayers and teach children how to read the Holy Quran. Hinduism has a sizable following as well. They have prayer rooms in their homes. Hindu temples can be found as you get closer to the Thar desert area, where the Hindu population is more numerous. Sindh is one of Pakistan's most beautiful provinces. Its villages exemplify peace and simplicity. Sindh village culture is a distinct blend of Hindu and Muslim influences. The Mughal dynasty, which ruled India from 1526 to 1857, had an impact on it. Sindh village culture is distinguished by social norms, traditions, food habits, crafts, and art. However, the twin factors of poverty and illiteracy are stifling this region's growth. Not every child attends school. Some assist their parents with household chores. There are few and far between schools. One reason children do not attend school is a lack of transportation. There are few functional schools and no transportation for children to go and attend a more distant school. Children in Sindh who grow up with a low literacy rate are often less educated and more likely to be unemployed or end up becoming agriculture farm workers. The issue is that children with low literacy levels are not encouraged to attend school by their family members. They also lack access to resources like books, the internet, and electricity. As a result, even if they are enrolled in school, they drop out at a young age, believing they are illiterate and will never learn to read or write or can't afford to study further. Sindh is in a state of a public health emergency, both as a result of the recent pandemic and previously as a result of hepatitis and other issues. The main contributors to this region's worsening health situation in cities are a lack of sanitary facilities and a growing garbage problem. There is a lack of potable water, sanitary facilities, and a near absence of qualified medical practitioners and healthcare delivery facilities in rural areas like these. To address these issues, authorities must devote more time and resources to improving healthcare infrastructure and general living conditions. There is also no ambulance service. If a person becomes ill, he must use privately available transportation to get to the nearest city for medical treatment. Such transportation may not be available at night or may only be available through personal contacts. Sick people are sometimes transported to hospitals in Chinchi. Maternity and childbirth services are also a long distance away. If a woman experiences labor pains at night, she may give birth at home or travel to the nearest midwife or maternity facility in an uncomfortable mode of transportation such as Chinchi. This region of the country still has villages that do not have any electricity or have intermittent power supply. Many people are dissatisfied with the government for failing to provide such services. They believe that they should have access to a continuous power supply for their homes as well as for commercial use in order to thrive in today's competitive world. In comparison to urban Sindh, the situation in rural Sindh is dire. Rural areas continue to lack a natural gas supply system for cooking. The people of these villages rely on a time-consuming and difficult-to-manage wood-based system. Another issue with gas is that, where it is available in cities or suburban villages, it is very expensive and, as a result, cannot be afforded by the majority of people in Sindh's suburban and rural areas. The urban areas, on the other hand, have a more efficient natural gas supply system, and people with higher urban incomes can afford it as well. Rural Sindh, despite being a picturesque region of Pakistan, is a dusty place that may not be the best choice for a spring or summer vacation. In rural Sindh, dust is ubiquitous, and it is not uncommon to see people with dust-covered faces and clothes. While the dust is an indication of the area's agricultural nature, it is also an eyesore because it settles on everything, causing abrasion and clogging pores. The dust also contributes to respiratory issues such as asthma and allergies. Sindh has some of the best fertile lands in the country. It is also home to a diverse range of handicrafts dating back hundreds of years. The best time to visit is from October to February when the weather is cooler and the fields are green with growing wheat, or, in December, January, full of yellow mustard flowers. This brings us to the end of our current video journey. In the future, we plan to release more informative videos. So, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. Send the link to your friends if you think they'd be interested in this video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section. If you require a flight ticket, a hotel reservation, or any other travel-related service, please visit travelsandholidays.com.